You know, it's funny. We had Eric Stone Street here a few months ago, and he told his story about Modern Family and how you guys had never really met before.
Right.
You shot the pilot.
Right.
And he's driving along with his friend.
Oh, right.
And he hadn't heard a word yet about whether this show is going to get picked up, and you called.
Yeah.
And you told him, you remember this conversation from your point of view?
I called him. I had seen it. I saw the show because I watched it after they all did. For some reason, I was working somewhere else.
Okay.
I came back and I had to go to the Fox lot, Leviton and Lloyd's office, and they put me in a room by myself. And they put the tape in. The guy walked out and shut the door.
Yeah.
So I watched the pilot, and then he came back in. You know, he timed it. Mm-hmm. And I said, "Would you play it again? I want to watch it again." Okay, played it again. I watched another 22 minutes. You know.
Yes.
Watched it again, and I said, "Okay, thank you." So I went out and I was driving around, and I called a few people in the cast, but I called Eric, and he was driving around with his buddies, I think, in the car or something. And I said, "Eric, well, you know how he imitates me." And I said, "I just screened the pilot." He said, "Oh." You know, Eric was pantomiming things. He was doing mime in some garage in Encino. And he said, I said, "You're great in this." He said, "Oh, thank you." And I said, "If this show doesn't run 10 years, I shouldn't be in Hollywood. I shouldn't be out here at all. 10 years, you're going to be buying houses with this thing." Wow. And he was, "Oh, you know, you can imagine."
Yeah.
He thought from me, and now I'm not sure, but he thought it was like, you know, some kind of prophecy.
Okay, confirm. He by the way, it was.
Yeah, it was. It was because when I saw the pilot, and I've been wrong before, Rich.
Sure.
About things. You know, we all are.
Right.
But when I saw the pilot, and I think I had run into Eisen, Bob, and he said, "This is the best pilot I've seen in I think he said 10 or 20 years." So I knew, you know, it was it. I knew it. It was like, I knew it from the time I read it.
It was that good on the page, is what you're saying.
It was that good on the page. I said, "This is a hit." And it went to, why can't I remember his name? I thought of it this morning. The actor that they offered the part to, not me. You know, he played Coach.
Oh,
the
Craig
series.
T. Nelson? Yeah,
Three names.
Craig T. Nelson.
Yes, Craig.
Yeah.
And because Craig and I were up for a lot of things over the years, you know, we're similar. And so because I had the meeting with those guys, Lloyd and Levitan, a year before. They hadn't written it yet. And they pitched the idea. And they said, "Would you be willing to like get involved now?" And I said, "No, I don't want to do a sitcom." Didn't they tell you that? And I said, "Well, it's, you know," they tried to talk me into, it's not for camera. There's no audience.
Right.
Because I don't like an audience in a sitcom.
Even while you were doing Married with Children?
It's no good. It's no good. Because you got 4 cameras and the audience behind them.
Right.
And they're there to see you. But the cameras now are in the way. So they have the screens, but they don't know where to look. So often they laugh at the wrong time. They blow jokes, you know.
Okay.
That was my thing. But so where was I going with this?
You said that you didn't want to do a sitcom, and they still wanted you to be this role.
So they were very nice, and I respected. The reason I was there was I knew what they had done.
Sure.
You know, Frasier, Golden Girls, Just Shoot Me. So a year later, I got the script in the mail, and it was a different name, different title. And then I saw their names, and I said, "Oh, this must be that show." So I read it, and I thought, "Oh, no, I got to do this." I didn't realize it was not an offer. And I called my manager, and I said, "Mark, I think I have to do this." And he said, "Too late." Out to Craig T. Nelson. I said, "Oh, okay, well, I'll watch it. It's going to be a good show." And then a week later, he called and said, "They're back to you." Because Craig T. understandably passed because it was only one show. And those guys like Craig, you know, he wanted some upfront money, like pay me for 6,
sure, and
I'll do your 1. And if it doesn't make it, no hard feelings. Well, that's the way it goes. So he must have passed, assuming they'd come back to him. But I guess somebody wanted me for the part. And they said, "They're back to you." And I said, "Make the deal." And he said, "You're not the star." I said, "I know." He said, "You're not paying your quota." I said, I don't care. It's a hit. We'll get even later, and then we'll get ahead. And I was right.
You sure were.
Wow.
No doubt
Craig
about
T
that.
fired everybody connected to him. No,
it's just... Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.